Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm a master's student in marine biology. Ever since I earned my diving license, I've been passionate about scuba diving. Whenever I dive, I'm happy to see the stunning beauty of coral reefs, and this is why coral bleaching has become a major environmental concern for me. What if coral bleaching becomes irreversible? Would the loss of healthy corals have devastating effects on our marine ecosystems? Aside from being a marine student, I also have a deep love for model making. I've built model kits quite often ever since I was 12, and I could say my modeling skills and painting skills are quite decent. Throughout my studies, I've often wondered if it is possible to merge my hobby with my studies in marine biology. This is when I discovered incredible videos where artists create dioramas of marine life and ecosystems using only clay, epoxy resin, and pure modeling skills. These dioramas beautifully showcase the wonders of our oceans and their inhabitants. They inspired me to make a diorama of coral reefs. For my project, however, I wanted to go a little further. The diorama will feature both a vibrant, healthy coral reef system, at the same time a severely bleached, dying reef system. This is because while it's natural to focus on the beauty and positive sides of marine life, it's also crucial to acknowledge the severe threats of our coral reefs face globally. I want to create a scene with a strong contrast between the two systems, highlighting the commendably beautiful but also fragile coral reef, also the devastating effects of bleaching on it. In this video, I'm going to show you how I make this diorama and at the same time talk about why coral bleaching has become a controversial issue. Ultimately, I hope some of you will find this video to be informational, educational, inspiring, and generally fun to watch. I also hope that it can offer you a fresh perspective on marine conservation. To make this diorama, you would first need a base. Anything that is solid and a sizing that satisfies your needs would be nice. In my case, I picked this rectangular wooden drawer I found in a supermarket. And after that, I filled it in with some clay, and then smoothened the surface with some water and my hands. The excess was then removed by some white paper and a cutter. I then add a layer of PVA glue, put some white sand on top, and the base was basically done. Throughout the video, you will see me using air-dry clay to recreate some of the most common corals that you can find on the reef. Except the mushroom corals, most corals that I made are identified as hard corals. The reason why I chose to make hard corals was because they are the main victims of coral bleaching. In the meantime, allow me to give you an overview of coral bleaching. Coral bleaching is where corals expel their symbiotic algae living in their tissues, causing them to turn white and become more susceptible to disease and mortality. It is primarily triggered by elevated sea temperatures, but can also be caused by changes in water quality, light, or nutrient levels. The loss of algae disrupts the coral's energy supply, leading to decreased growth and reproductive capacity. Regarding the issue, increasing sea temperatures due to global warming are widely recognized as the leading cause of widespread bleaching, but the extent to which local conservation efforts can mitigate these effects remain controversial. Another ongoing debate is about the capacity of corals to adapt to changing conditions. Some argue that corals can develop resistance to higher temperatures, while others believe the rapid pace of climate change outstrips the ability of corals to adapt. There is also debate over the best strategies for coral conservation. Some reckon assisted evolution and coral gardening, while others emphasize the importance of reducing local stresses like pollution and overfishing. High-profile bleaching events, such as those affecting the Great Barrier Reef, have received extensive media coverage, raising public awareness. However, media narratives can sometimes oversimplify the complexities of coral ecosystem and the nature of bleaching. Many studies have documented the links between rising sea temperatures and bleaching events. Key research has focused on identifying thermally resilient coral species and understanding the genetic and environmental factors that influence bleaching susceptibility. Techniques such as selective breeding and genetic modification may be used to enhance the thermal tolerance of corals, creating supercorals capable of surviving in warmer waters. However, more research needed to be done to understand the long-term adaptive capacity of corals and the potential for natural selection to favor more resilient species. There is also need for comprehensive assessments of the socio-economic impacts of coral bleaching on communities that depend on reef ecosystems. So, why would there be controversies surrounding the issue of coral bleaching? There are mainly two sides surrounding this issue. One side believes that coral bleaching is natural and does not require us to act. Another side believes that coral bleaching is related to anthropogenic climate change and we should do something about it. For the side who think no action needs to be done regarding coral bleaching, they argue that the impacts of coral bleaching are natural processes that corals have historically endured. In the geological timescales, sea levels have fluctuated significantly. Sea levels were much lower due to the large volume of water trapped in ice sheets during the Ice Age, and become much higher due to melting ice in warmer interglacial periods. Corals were able to benefit and grow vertically while adapting to changes in light availability. Sea temperatures have also varied with climatic cycles over geological time. Climatic cycles like El Nino and La Nina cycles are naturally occurring. They are also skeptical of human-induced climate change and criticize climate models for their uncertainties and potential inaccuracies, arguing that they overestimate the impacts of human activities on coral bleaching. Coral reefs have already existed for hundreds of millions of years, with fossil evidence indicating their presence as far back as 500 million years ago. They have adapted to these environmental changes over time, and their basic structure and ecological roles have remained consistent. Fossil evidence have also shown past bleaching events before human influence. This is why they believe corals can continue to adapt and recover from disturbances and that human intervention may not always be necessary or effective. Additionally, they may argue that focusing on conservation efforts diverts resources from addressing more pressing environmental issues. Conversely, many scientists and environmentalists reckon that the scale and frequency of coral bleaching events currently are unprecedented and largely driven by human-induced climate change. Over the past century, global sea levels have risen at an accelerating rate, primarily due to the thermal expansion of seawater and the melting of glaciers and ice sheets. Since 1900s, the global average sea level has already risen by about 20 centimeters, with an increasing rate in recent decades. Since the late 19th century, the average sea surface temperature has increased by approximately 1 degree Celsius. This warming is unevenly distributed, with some regions experiencing more significant increase than others. Besides, over the past few decades, coral reefs have faced increasing threats from human activities, including overfishing, pollution, and coastal development, stressors that were absent in the past geological timescale, but are now leading to widespread coral bleaching, disease outbreaks, and physical destructions of reef structures. Reports from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change (IPCC) have highlighted the link between greenhouse gas emissions, global warming, and coral bleaching. Many of the world's coral reefs are in decline. The Great Barrier Reef, for example, has experienced multiple mass bleaching events in recent years, resulting in significant loss of coral cover. Globally, it is estimated that around 50% of coral reefs has been lost or severely degraded over the past 30 years, a decline that is accelerating. Without significant reduction in greenhouse gas emissions and other human stressors, coral reef could collapse within decades, leading to widespread ecological and socio-economical consequences. Overall, the controversy surrounding coral bleaching reflects broader debates about the balance between natural processes and human impacts on ecosystems, as well as the urgency of addressing climate change, finding common ground, and implementing solutions that balance ecological, economic, and social priorities remain a challenge in addressing this complex issue. From my point of view, the arguments supporting the urgency of addressing coral bleaching are more valid. We need to do something. But it's also important to consider different perspectives on environmental issues. Through communication, we can identify the flaws in each argument and improve our strategies. Together, we can work towards a common goal. Doing something to conserve what we have is crucial. The sight of dead branching corals might be beautiful to some, but it's also terrifying. It's a future that I don't want to see. I believe most of us would prefer the vibrant, healthy reefs over bleached, lifeless ones. If you were to choose, which would it be? Though this is my first time doing any kind of sculpting and playing with air-dry clay, I find it to be equally challenging and interesting. I'm satisfied with the results and would like to build other dioramas in the future. I hope that this video offers a new perspective on marine conservation, to be engaging not just for scientists, conservationists, and policymakers, but for everyone. I think it is important to be mindful of the issue, but at the same time be hopeful. Even just taking a small part in contributing to the conservation of our coral reefs would be meaningful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.